Checking out, there's one that showed me 300 the rest of them can be the doctor. There's not always 300. I mean, the constant loss. It's around $400. So, I gotta rehydro it.
Our recording.
The bottom would be reasonable.
Of course. We don't leave.
Well, let's see what I get for recently. Come up with a number.
Sorry, yes.
Pretty crazy. What I like Collins.
Or something that can make them mentally.
It's a lot stronger than academics.
I never seen it.
Even though
I took it to.
Normally it's.
implement a common curriculum for 3 campuses and then
Yeah, probably.
answer to it. Technically don't have advisors.
Okay, start time 6 p.m.
Meeting's called to order.
Meeting's called to order.
Okay, cool.
Oh, quorum.
John Ward, present.
Matthew Whitman, present.
Ashley Blumenstock present.
Cody Cook here.
All parts here. Cody Anderson.
There's a quorum.
What?
There is a quorum.
There's a quorum.
Invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nobody knows.
We were fine.
When an indivisible.
Perfect note. Harmony and everything.
Okay. Invocation.
Y'all pray with me, please. Father God, we come to you this evening and thank you for tonight. We thank you for this time of the year where we get to celebrate the birth of your son. But most importantly, we thank you for his death and resurrection, which gives us salvation freely to us, but not to him. Be with us throughout this day, this evening, and this week, and we'll give you thanks again in Christ's name, amen.
Ma'am? Beginning our meeting tonight, first kicking off with our important dates. It's that time of the year where we front load all of our holidays so that we don't have any holidays during the spring and summer. We have December and New Year's coming up in January, as well as Martin Luther King Day. We also have the President's Day on the 16th of February. There's one unusual thing on here that I want to point out to y'all, and that is on 28th of January. That is the inaugural meeting of the West Fork Public Utility Agency. This is kind of a big deal. There's going to be some pomp and circumstance to standing up the first ever meeting of the PUA. If you'll take a look at this invitation here, on the 28th at the Decatur Conference Center, there's going to be a dinner and the first ever meeting. I'm going to be there. I would recommend that everyone who can go, choose to go. It could potentially, it's a historical, it's a history-making event. We have a member representing us on the board who will be present, and so to show up and support them in their efforts as they try to bring more surface water into Wise County would be a worthy thing. If y'all want to go to this meeting on the 28th, please let me know, and I will RSVP on your behalf. Any questions on that? Okay, does anyone already know that they're going to want to go on the 28th? All right, Mr. Potts? Thank you, +1.
I'll be there.
Great.
There's an outside chance.
Okay, I'll RSVP for you. Okay, great.
I will take my bride with me.
Excellent. Celebrate her No, you said her birthday's in April.
Yeah, her birthday's in April,
Okay,
21st.
early birthday. All right. Any other questions about this item? If not, I'll proceed. We have 5 briefs for y'all today. The first one is a brief about an upcoming road project. We have a proposal from the Quiddity Engineering Group to conduct that project for us. The second brief that I have is a proposed rezoning of properties on North Mesquite. We are not voting on that today. This is only a brief about the rezoning on North Mesquite. Then we have a brief about the Paradise Parks Board, and then a brief about the Chamber of Commerce Gala that they're having. And then the final brief will be the Q1 financial report for this current fiscal year. If I have no comments from council, I'll go ahead and get started. Okay. First brief. There are 2 road projects that we're looking to do in the coming couple years in Paradise. The first road project is to straighten out this S-bend that curves around Mr. Potts' property here on Schoolhouse Road. The property line here runs along the curve of the road, but what happens is people speed down 3355 and they don't realize how sharp this curve is, and so they run off the road into Mr. Potts' territory here. They run through his fence, and it's only a matter of time before someone gets hurt doing that. Also, it's very dangerous for us to get in there and mow this road because people just fly around the curves. And so for some years, we've been wanting to go ahead and fix that problem. And the plan is to just straighten this road so that it runs from here to here. There's a straight line across this green space here. The second project that we're hoping to do is to improve the intersection here at Stadium and Hickory. So if y'all have spent any time in Paradise at all and it's rained, you've seen how bad the drainage is here at Stadium and Hickory, and you've seen how the narrowness of these roads has impacted people's ability to safely take these turns as they enter the school campus. And so our project here is to do some widening of this intersection and to do some regrading of the roads. Some regrading of the right-of-way. I also am hoping to get the school board on board with us to maybe get some concrete pads here on the entry and exit from their gravel lot. Because what happens right now is the vehicles track the gravel onto the road and then they run over it in their vehicles and cause potholes. In fact, it looks pretty bad right now. I have it on my schedule to get out there in the front loader and tamp down some new asphalt to try to mitigate that. But then it rains and the potholes come back. And so just to fix that problem once and for all, I want to come in and get that done. Now, this is expensive. In our budget for fiscal year 26, y'all approved $60,000 for road work in the city of Paradise. $60,000 is not enough money to design it and do the road work. And so the solution that we've come to is here in fiscal year 26, we'll design the road improvements, and that'll come out to right at $60,000. And then next year in fiscal year 27, Colby Shawn and his road crew from the county will come and actually do the work for us. So it's a dual stage project. Fiscal year 26, do the design. Fiscal year 27, do the work. In order to do this work, we reached out to the Quiddity Engineering firm. They are going to do the surveying and do the exhibits and all the planning to get this project to the point where we can hand it off to the county and let the road work execute. We're saving some money on some studies that larger cities would do that we just can't afford to do. Like the hydrology study, the rainwater flow study, traffic studies, all that stuff that normally you would see done, but here the problem is pretty clear. We need to straighten the road and we need to stop the potholes from happening, so we'll make it happen with the monies that are available to us. I am here for any questions. I also have Mr. Steve Templer. Mr. Steve Templer is the representative here from Quiddity Engineering. If y'all have any questions for either of us about this project, we're here to answer them. This item does appear on our deliberation agenda tonight. Do we have it, sir?
Ask the questions then or ask them now?
Ask them now or then.
Well, the one about the gas line.
Yes, sir.
Did we have a solution on that one?
The answer to that is not yet.
Okay.
And so, since you bring it up, I'll say, we all know that the school is in the process of building their new high school. The school district is building their new high school right here south of where this map ends. They need to run their gas line south to service their new campus. And their original plan was to have it curve along this road and go down to the school. But of course, if the right-of-way is going to change in the next 18 months, then it doesn't make much sense for them to lay it there. The reason that we don't have an answer to that yet is because the council has not yet approved this project. And so if the council does choose to approve this project tonight, then we'll be able to say with some certainty, this is likely what's going to happen, and do our coordinating with the district. Good question. Are there any other questions from the council? Steve, is there anything egregious that I missed?
No.
Thank you. Okay, unless there are any questions from the council, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Okay. The next item that we have is a brief concerning the proposed rezoning on North Mesquite. I'm going to talk for a bit, and then I'm going to invite Joe to come up and talk to us a little bit about the project that he has in mind. Okay, so this is Highway 114 as it curves past the stoplight. Here's the stoplight right here where the railroad track goes. And then we go north on 3259 onto North Mesquite, Ash, and then Bluebonnets up here, okay? There is an undeveloped tract right here, this kind of greenish space here, approximately 2-acre lot. Mr. Joe Lamb is proposing to develop that land. What he has in mind are a series of quadplexes. And so what you're seeing right here is a rough mock-up of what it would look like. These are family dwellings, a 2-story building, ground floor, family and dining living areas with the garage out front. And then the second floor is bedrooms. Okay, the basic idea here is that this 2-acre tract would be replatted into either 3 rectangles or 4 rectangles to fit 3 or 4 quadplexes onto the property. Currently, this land is zoned R1, which is low density residential. In order to do this project, we would need to get it rezoned to R2, which is high density residential. And that just means that you can have multifamily units built on the land. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Joe Lamb.
Does the R2, does it, I guess, high density is anything over 2 units? Is that what it would be considered?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. So I have the 2 acres. We also own everything across the street. We've built some duplexes, townhomes, and I'd purchased the property across the street for future development. And I've been in the mix of doing that. And we bought the property, we've cleaned everything up. Our model was to try to build something nice for the city. There's not a whole lot of rental properties in the city of Paradise, so we wanted to bring forth more options. The units that we do have, we've got a 2-bedroom, 2-bath duplex, and I've got 2 townhomes that are 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. We've got some great people that stay in them. We had the superintendent in one of them for a little while at the school. It's just we're building a nice product to give back to people that need to have somewhere to move, short-term, long-term, and also something that is cost-effective but nice, something that isn't, run down and gives people the options, even if they're like building a house or anything like that. We kind of give everybody the flexibility if it's short-term and they need to get out of the unit, we'll even let them break their lease early just to kind of help out. But the parcel we have is a 2-acre tract. The Union Pacific does own 200 feet off the railroad tracks. So they're about 30 feet into my property. Actually, based on paper, they own where North Mesquite Road is, and in my property about 30 feet. So we've got 140 by 600 feet to work with.
You're saying that their right-of-way extends into your property?
Yep.
Right.
And so we're just looking to cut it up into 4 half-acre parcels to meet TCEQ requirements for septic. We've been going back and forth about doing single septic plant, kind of like what they do in RV parks, or just doing individuals like we've done on all the other units for those other buildings. Seems to be more cost effective. It makes more sense to just do individual units because we can isolate if there's an issue with the septic. We know exactly, we can pinpoint exactly which unit it is. But that's really the plan. We're gonna cut it up to where like half-acre tracts. We'll have enough room between buildings so that it looks nice, uniform, and set up enough parking in the front to accommodate any kind of parking for the units, and also accommodate even any. We're going to eliminate there's some people have too many vehicles on the other side, so we have them currently parking on the other side, but once it's occupied, they won't be able to do that. So we're going to have to limit how many vehicles are able to be in a driveway. But that's what we're looking to do there.
So you're saying a half an acre is enough for 4 living units on septic?
It is, yeah. We can make it work. Trying to compare it to the other side. It would probably be about the same size as that duplex, which is the lower building. It'd be roughly about that size. I don't know what the actual square footage would be on a half acre, but that's what TC requires for a septic system.
Mm-hmm.
We'll set it back about 25 feet or 30 feet for enough parking, but then we'll still the buildings are 100 by 55, so 100 wide, 55 deep. So we'll have 80 feet or so in the backyard to be able to put any kind of septic plant back there.
That'd be like aerobic or?
Everything has been able to be soil tested and be just regular standard septic systems there.
Okay.
At least that's what we have on the other side. We haven't done a perk test on that side yet, but I would assume it's probably going to be similar with the sandy soil that we have there and in that surrounding area. But worst case scenario, we'll put a single plant at the end if it doesn't make sense, or if we can't make it work in the design. We'll put a single plant at the end of the place, and we'll have enough room to be able to do it there, and then we can. Part of the design discussion was we were going to have a trash tank catch all the solids from the units. We'll have 2 units into one trash tank, and we'll do that every 2 units. And then we would have one water line going down to a series of tanks to catch the water. And then we would have a zone system to be able to backfeed the lateral lines coming back. If we needed the room, we could even come down to the behind the buildings, but we should have enough room if we did the single plant up on the top side, and we would just allow roughly a half acre to be able to do all that with.
There's the water line going over that area.
So the water line goes in front of the townhomes. It's on that side of the road.
Okay.
It's an 8-inch water line, and then there's a fire hydrant at the top of that. As it starts to curve, there's a fire hydrant right there.
Is that going to be enough? Because I don't know if we've really planned for another 12 or 16 housing units in that area. If that would affect the people.
Well, an 8-inch water line should flow it. Now I know that in areas of Paradise we don't have adequate fire flow, so we could certainly test it. But we put an 8-inch water main in Windmill Ridge, for 50 homes. So in theory, I have the same size pipe. It's just a matter of if we have enough, fire flow.
Yeah. I just hate to affect the people downstream from that.
Right. Correct. So I don't know. I couldn't see, because the water feeding it comes from the north, so we would be downstream from it in theory. I couldn't see that it would affect it, but So the water line crosses roughly Oak Street, which, well, would it be Oak Street? Anyway, it's further north from the donut store. If you look up where the railroad tracks is going up, it cuts across roughly
I thought it
where
was.
Mesquite bends is where it kind of diagonal comes across.
That puts you upstream of the other houses.
Would be downstream from the lateral that comes across. I know they had talked about wanting to bring a water line across 114 to tie into 3259 and make a circuit there, but I don't think anybody's made any move there. And the permitting for TxDOT and Railroad Commission is pretty expensive, but
Because since it's such a pretty large impact on the infrastructure, is that something like our engineers would get in on?
Yes, sir. So there are two different discussions here. There's the zoning, which is just what anyone could do with the land. And then there's the permitting, which is where the engineer comes in. Yes, sir. So there would need to be permits issued and engineers would have to confirm that it was all kosher before any building could happen.
So we need to just decide if you move the height. And then let the engineers figure out what's feasible.
yeah, so, either way, we can zone it to be high residential. I would assume we could still do low residential on the same track if something didn't work out.
Back to-
Right.
I know the duplex over there, actually, there's what, 3 duplexes?
Yeah, there's
So,
1 duplex, 2 townhomes. So yeah, there's 6 units there.
and I guess that one, that house and stuff adjacent to 3259 that'd get raised? Your property goes all the way to 3259, right?
It does on the Mesquite side. On the Ash Street, I don't own the house that's on the corner.
Oh, okay.
That's,
I thought it covered all of it.
the guys, it used to be Earl Cash's mom. She passed away. So
On the CAD map, it does
the
show.
guy that owns Ameridream, I'm drawing a blank,
Jesse.
Jesse, he's the one that owns that house there.
There's no action to be taken, we're just doing a discussion.
Just discussion.
Yeah, just presenting it.
So this item is currently slated to come up in January for a hearing and a vote. Do y'all have any other questions for Joe before we move on?
I would say too, alternatively, if we feel like it's too much of an impact on the water side, can we get a variance or an alternative for being able to drill a well to support it? At least maybe even on the fire flow side? Because that was the discussion that I was talking about for.
There's also the new rule about 10, I don't know if it's 10 houses or 10 living units that the state requires a test well to be drilled, and I don't know if that applies to multifamily units.
I think anything over 3 units is considered multifamily, but I think on fire suppression side, the code is, you can have an on-site, essentially like a on-site water dispersion system to be able to store, to be able to feed the buildings on the fire suppression side, especially if there is not adequate fire flow.
It's the Upper Trinity Groundwater Conservation District that controls the wells in Wise County.
Yes.
And that would be a discussion that we'd have to have with them.
We do have an existing well already there right behind the shop, inside the shop. There is an existing well there. So in theory, we could use something like that to be able to have say like a 3,000 gallon storage tank or something like that for possible fire flow if needed. Because I know they've done that in the past for places that don't have adequate fire flow.
Any other questions before we move on? Okay. With that, the next 2 briefs, I'm actually going to invite our administrative intern, Mr. Vishal Parsa, to come up and do these briefs. Mr. Parsa is a graduate student at UNT. He's a transfer student from Hyderabad in India. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to him to go through these 2 briefs with you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mayor and the Council. My name is Vishal Parsa. I'm the administrative intern here at the City of Paradise. I'm here to brief you about the Paradise Parks Board. So, back in 2022, on 25th April, the Resolution 22/63 was established to form the Parks Board in the City of Paradise. So, it's responsible for advising the council on the city's parks development and various other things regarding the parks in the city, starting from funding and deep down to organized and coordinated activities. So within the resolution, the board consists of 5 members, 1 member from the city council, 1 member from the Economic Development Commission, 1 member from the Paradise Youth Recreation Association, and 2 members at large. They can be elected from anywhere. As you can see, there is a 1 vacant position in the board. The reason for the vacancy is that previously Mayor Black used to hold that position. So I request the council, so the city requests the council to elect a person to that position. Any questions?
This item comes up on our deliberation.
Yes. It's on deliberation tonight. Any questions? Okay. Next, the Chamber of Commerce Gala. The Chamber of Commerce is conducting an event on January 24, 2026, starting from 5:30 p.m. Location is Decatur Civic Center. So we are the members. We are the members of the chamber, and they have contacted us regarding the sponsorship. If we are whether we are interested in sponsoring their event or not. So as you can see, there are 3 levels of sponsorship, starting from $500 to $2,000. I would like to request the council a feedback if we are going to sponsor their event or not.
This is the first time it's happened. I feel like we've donated or sponsored something like
Joined it every year.
To my knowledge, this is the first time that we've been asked to sponsor their annual event. I know the text is really small, but you see $500, $1,000, or $2,000. We have the money set aside that we can spend in this area if that's something that y'all are interested in doing. It's completely up to y'all.
And also, if you can see that there's a $65 entry pass for each person. So I'd like to request the council members to attend the event. If any of the council members are interested, please let me know. I'll sign up for you. Yeah. Any questions?
But before we move on, can we hear whether the council has any interest in sponsoring the event?
Can you tell us what it says in each paragraph?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Essentially, the more you spend, the bigger they make the city logo on their materials.
That's it?
Well,
And 2 free tickets.
They-
Free 8.
right. And so, for example, if we had 4 members of the council that wanted to go, we could sponsor at the champion level. And then we'd give them $1,000, but that would include the $260 for the tickets. There will be a point where they recognize their sponsors, and they'll say, the City of Paradise sponsored us at this level. Everyone clap for the City of Paradise. And so it really is just
It's like
Whatever.
a recognition to our city.
whatever the
Mayor, are
appetite.
you gonna go?
I'm gonna go.
Okay, you could take someone with you.
Does anybody wanna go?
You're gonna have to give a date, because I don't think I'm gonna go.
I don't want to take my husband, but I guess I can.
Well, if she's gonna go, I say we sponsor and get her 2 free tickets, and she can come report to us. I can't, because my children all be here.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good to me. So you want to do the $500 one? Is that what you're talking about? I just want to go with 2 tickets.
Yeah. $500, they can say, hey, call her up there and say hello, and feed her a meal.
It could be $500 and the mayor and I go.
That's fine.
Sounds good? Okay, so the feedback I'm receiving from the council is that we'll do a $500 community leader sponsorship with tickets included for myself and the mayor. Very good. Ma'am?
Do we need to go back to the other one
No, ma'am.
to elect for the parks?
That comes up in our deliberation agenda.
Awesome.
If there are no further questions, I'll move on. This is the final brief of the night. It's the Q1 financial report for 2026. I have to give you financial updates on a quarterly basis, and this is the first quarterly report for this fiscal year. So what you're seeing right now on the left-hand side, you're seeing the account. These are the various bank accounts that the city maintains in order to keep our funds separate. Now, a municipality is different from a normal business because in a normal business, you have a cash flow basis of accounting, you have revenues that you collect, it all goes into one pot, and then you have expenditures that you spend on the things that you need to pay for your overhead. In a city, it's not like that because there are certain revenues that you collect that can only be spent on certain types of expenditures. Okay, so we have to keep different funds available for different types of activities, and each fund is individually audited year by year. Okay, so that's why we have so many bank accounts here. What we're looking at right now are governmental funds. These are the funds that cover activities that are paid for by the public. So tax funds are gathered in, and then for the good of the community, the funds are spent. Within our general fund, we ended last fiscal year with $89,000 in the bank. We currently have about $85,000 in the bank. We have a little bit less money than we did before because we have not yet collected the revenues for our property taxes. Collections for property taxes are going to run all the way through February, and so we're going to see a big bump in our general fund revenues over the next few months as people pay their property taxes. So the next time that we have this brief, at the end of March and beginning of April, we'll expect to see a big jump in our general fund operating bank account. Don't worry about us running out of cash because we have this is our general fund investment account. So the surplus that we had in our operating account, we transferred into our investment account. These are invested in very low risk investments that are governed by our investment policy, but there's so much money in there that it's collecting a good deal in interest. We've risen from $857,000 to $863,000. This is our buffer, our cash buffer for an unforeseen emergency. Within our capital projects fund, we took a big dip here. We had $87,600 in there at the end of last fiscal year. Currently, we only have $100 in there. And the reason that's that way is because we took this money that was set aside in our capital projects fund and we used it to pay for our big drainage project in Old Town and Reed Ranch, where we regraded and put the weirs, the collection structures, up in our right-of-way. So because of that money that we spent, we've mitigated water flow across Lowry's Pipe Yard, underneath Highway 114, and into Leon Park. That's the money that we spent on that. We simply have not refilled the capital projects fund because the capital projects, well, not capital projects, the other projects that we have scheduled for fiscal year 26 are going to come out of the general fund. So there hasn't been a reason for us to restock this fund. We do still have capital improvement money, which is in our investment funds, and that's just right about at $100,000. And then we have our court security and technology fund. That's staying pretty steady because we're using New Fairview and their court system to run our court operations. So we ended last fiscal year with governmental funds sitting at about $1.13 million. Currently, we're at $1.049 million. Expecting to see a big bump in Q2 from our property taxes. Do we have any questions about our governmental funds? Okay, moving on to our proprietary funds. Proprietary funds are paid for activities that are supposed to be self-supporting. So, for example, our water fund. We provide water services, we collect a water bill, they cancel each other out. And so people call the proprietary funds the business type funds. At the end of last fiscal year, we had $244,000 in our water and wastewater operating fund. Currently, we have $273,000 in that fund. We do have projects slated for later on in the year to spend some of that down. Same story with our water wastewater investments. We ended last quarter with $154,000. We currently have $155,000. And then our water impact fund, which has risen from $188,900 to $189,100. So they call this the net position. Our net position from quarter 4 of last year has risen from $587,000 to its current position at $617,000. Our total current balance for both our governmental and proprietary funds adds up to about $1.67 million. That is about 18 months of operating expenses for the city, which is a good buffer. Moving on, what you're looking at right now is a little bit confusing. I'm going to walk you through it. So here we have our general fund. This is our budget progress. For the entire year of 2025-2026, we are anticipating bringing in $924,891 for the entire year. To date, we have collected about $108,000, which means that in the first 25% of the fiscal year, we have only collected 11.74% of the revenues we expect for the year. Why is that low? Because of the property taxes. Okay.
It all happens at one time.
Yes, sir. And so we'll get a big lump between now and March. And the next time that I brief y'all on this, we will probably have leapfrogged over our position. For expenditures, we are anticipating spending $906,000 this year. To date, we've expended about $189,000. So we've spent, in the first 25% of the year, we have spent 20.9% of what we expected to spend, which means we're coming in slightly below budget, which is where we want to be. Similar stories for the water wastewater. We have budgeted to bring in $352,000 in our water wastewater fund. We've collected $80,000. We are only slightly below where we anticipated being, which is totally fine because we are well under budget with our water and wastewater fund. We are going to spend more on projects later in the year to spend out that money. All this to say that our budget is currently on track the way that we had planned it and when you all approved it a few months ago. The only thing is waiting on property tax revenues, which we always were expecting to do. Do I have any questions from the council about our quarter 1 budget update? Okay. With that, Mayor, I'll turn it over for citizen communications.
I read that part right.
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, the public is invited to address the city council and speak on any matter not specifically listed for public hearing elsewhere on this agenda. Please note that the city council members may not respond to comment or deliberate on topics if they are not included on this agenda. Each citizen will be allowed 3 minutes to address the city council. If you wish to speak during city communications, please sign up with the city secretary before the meeting begins. Lori, I'm gonna get it. Solanero.
That's okay.
Just practice it every day.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here tonight for 2 reasons. The first is the decision to appoint the former mayor as our representative to the West Fork Public Utility Agency without any discussion or consideration of other citizens of Paradise. That decision was bewildering. The citizens of Paradise made it clear in the recent election that the direction of the last 4 years is not where we want to go. A new voice for this role may have been a better option. The second reason for my being here tonight has to do with the discussion on the mayor's pay. After that meeting, I spoke with several residents, and many of us felt the same way. We were shocked and disappointed by how some of the members of this council behaved. During the discussion of the mayor's pay, The way the new mayor was treated came across as disrespectful and honestly pretty rude. It appeared that there was an effort to intimidate, undermine, and discredit her on her very first day. Choosing to debate a pay decrease publicly when it could have been handled in the executive session felt like an attempt to put her on the spot. And the argument itself, it didn't make sense. According to the minutes of the January 2023 council meeting, Mr. Ward and Mr. Anderson, you were the same council members who voted to raise the former mayor's pay to $500 a month due to a change in mayoral duties. That vote ended in a tie, which was broken by the former mayor herself in favor of her own pay raise. Those mayoral duties haven't changed, so why should the pay suddenly change now? A mayor's performance is evaluated every 2 years at the ballot box, not by cutting her pay before she even started. Saying, we think you'll do great, but we're not going to pay you what the last mayor paid you until you prove yourself, is not only unfair, it's insulting and came across as an effort to demean and intimidate the new mayor. And that's not how Paradise should operate. Mayor, I want to personally apologize and apologize on behalf of many citizens for the way you were treated. And I would hope that the members involved would also publicly apologize. Thank you for your time.
Frank Salerno. I'll work
Thanks.
on it.
I'll be here all year, so you're good.
Yes,
Yeah, 3-minute time limit on these.
Yeah, she's timing it.
I'm having it. Thank you.
Still waiting on the apology, by the way. Good evening. I've been looking over the city strategic plan, and honestly, I have one big question. Whose plan is this? Is this really what the people of Paradise want? Or is this coming from a handful of folks trying to build resumes or push their own ideas? Because in that city survey we all took, not once did it ask the important question, do you want to grow the city? And that matters. There is never a choice of none of the above. You simply can't keep a small town feel if you're planning the kind of growth these documents talked about. If you talk to people in the Argyle, Roanoke, North Lake Justin area, they'll tell you the same thing. Once big growth happens, small town feel goes. Yes, you're starting to see houses, apartments, and businesses pop up everywhere in that area, and it looks like a mini New York City. Over 7,000 homes are going to be built starting in 2026 and 2027 in that area. Do we want that? If you talk to Decatur or Bridgeport or Boyd, they're already dealing with the growth that's stressing the schools and the roads. 5,000 homes minimum will be built in the next 5 years. And if you look farther out to Prosper, Salina, Melissa, and Von Alstine, all of these towns were Paradise 8 to 10 years ago. And now they're struggling with infrastructure. Their schools are struggling. They're not the same schools they were 8 to 10 years ago. In fact, Melissa asked their city to stop building because they couldn't keep up with the growth. And let's be honest. The plan discussed here isn't growth, small growth, it's big growth. Hundreds of homes at a time, growth that we cannot support, growth that will strain our water, our roads, our schools, and our way of life. Growth that will be that will line the pockets of the landowners, developers, and home builders, while causing a significant tax and financial burden on the taxpayers of Paradise. Who's the big winner in this? Just look around, all around 30 to 40 miles away, and all you see is homes and developments. Is that really what people in Paradise want? We want kindergartners stuck in portable buildings because the school can't keep up with the growth. We want traffic backups just to get in and out of town. No, that's not what we want. And here's the thing, the city does have control over this. You can control how the city grows. Lastly, the voters spoke in November. You were given a clear mandate about what people want and what they don't want. People moved here knowing it's a small town. We are fine driving 15 or 20 minutes to shop or eat. That's part of our lifestyle. Your responsibility as elected officials is to represent the people who live here, not outside unelected influences, not pressure from developers, not the plans from the last 4 years the voters rejected. Elections have consequences. And this election said loud and clear, keep Paradise small, keep Paradise paradise. Thank you for your time.
Have anybody else?
I didn't do a card, that's all right. Jennifer Hickman. Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. Regarding the Stadium Drive project that was discussed earlier, if you're gonna spend $60,000 on a survey and you're not gonna study the water, isn't the water the problem that caused this? It sounds like you're just slapping a Band-Aid on it and wasting a lot of money if you're not gonna solve the root problem. If I misunderstood that, I apologize, Ms. Wolfer.
The reason, I'll just expound on what I said in the brief, that way I don't foul of our students' communications. It's just, we have $60,000 to do the work, and the hydrological study by itself can cost $200,000.
I totally get that, but if you're gonna spend money to fix a problem, if you're not actually fixing the problem, you're just putting a Band-Aid on it to delay it, or in 5 more years, you gotta fix it again because you didn't fix the underlying problem.
Yeah, I think, do you spend $60,000 on an 85% solution, or do you spend $400,000 on a 100% solution? And I think that's just us trying to stretch the taxpayer dollar as far as it'll go by the services that can be provided.
Regarding straightening the road by Mr. Potts' place, before you spend, I don't even want to know how much to straighten that road, has it been discussed to put up stop signs or speed bumps to deal with the excessive speed of people going through there? Has that been discussed?
Yeah, you can respond if you want.
Yes. The simple answer is that our increased police services have been monitoring the area and trying to reduce unsafe behavior in that area. There are traffic laws and difficulties. We could not put a blind speed bump there on the road because people come flying down there and don't see it. They can off-road themselves.
But what about stop sign?
Stop sign. It's an odd place for a stop sign. I honestly hadn't considered it. It's a very odd place for a stop sign.
Okay. And the increased police presence, you're talking about the 21 hours a month that we get,
That's correct.
that is mostly spent outside the school in the mornings, from what was reported before?
Did I misspeak? It's 21 hours a week.
It's 21 hours a week?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not 21 hours a month.
No, it's a week, yeah.
Okay.
They have to show.
Okay.
It was 20.
Well, the Boyd officer, is he 1 hour a week? Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as the rental property, am I allowed to talk on that, or do I need to wait till January?
If you're within your time.
I think probably,
Says we've been back and
yeah,
forth.
probably 30 seconds.
Okay, I'll talk fast. Yeah, concerned about septic on the half-acre lots, because apparently the city's had a big problem with that in Windmill Ridge, if we disannex or anything like that, but the biggest issue that I have, renters, I appreciate you want to do a good thing, but it typically does not end well when you have renters. They don't pay taxes, so they don't care. They don't take care of the properties. Trying to get a hold of the owner of the property a lot of times is really difficult, which we've been dealing with in Windmill Ridge with a couple rentals over there. So like I said, I know you have good intentions, but typically renters are not the people you want for neighbors. Thank you for your time.
All right, moving into our deliberation agenda. We have 2 items on the deliberation agenda for tonight. Excuse me, pardon me, the consent agenda. We have only 1 item on the consent agenda for tonight, and it is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Ma'am, you should be called for a motion.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion that we approve them.
A second?
I'll second that.
Motion passes.
Thank you, ma'am. moving on to our deliberation agenda. We have 2 items on the deliberation agenda tonight. The first one is consideration of the professional engineering services for Schoolhouse Road and Stadium Drive in Hickory. That's the $60,000 quiddity proposal. Turn it over to you for discussion and for a motion.
I think it's something we need to do because it's not just water, it's that intersection.
Thought us to make the turns wider,
Yeah.
get more room.
And it'll make the road more durable, because working with the school, they seem amenable to putting in the concrete section to separate the gravel from the road.
I've spoken with the superintendent and she's receptive. I cannot speak for the school board.
Okay. That'd be great if they did, because that would reduce the wear on the road, because it does get torn up pretty bad. So I'll make a motion that we go ahead and get in the contract with Liquidity to do the engineering.
I'll second it.
Vote passes.
Oh, we got
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Did we need to vote on the last one too?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yes,
I'm accepting the minutes.
yes.
Did we?
All in favor?
We didn't vote.
Minutes. Sorry, it's only my second time.
Very well.
There was a motion and a second, we're just gonna vote on it.
Consent agenda.
I know who seconded.
Motion and a second.
I second.
John,
It was John and Cody.
Cody,
Accept it. Aye.
All those in
all in
favor?
favor? What? It's unanimous.
Unanimous? Okay. Getting into deliberation for the engineering services. Who was the motion?
Me.
And who was the second? Ma'am?
All in favor? Vote passes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and I'll be talking with you tomorrow. The final item that we have on the agenda for tonight is the appointment to the Paradise Parks Board. So whichever one of you fine gentlemen is interested in serving in the Parks Board. Or the mayor, that's fine.
And I wouldn't mind doing it. You have too much on your plate.
Yeah.
Do not offer it up.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Anybody else would like to? I do not mind doing it.
It's fine with me.
Would someone please make a motion nominating Mayor Blumenstadt?
I'll make a motion to nominate Mayor Blumenstadt for the City of Paradise
Second.
Parks Board.
All in favor? Vote passes.
And that was the final item on the agenda. Would you like to make a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we leave.
Second.
Okay? Is that, can we take the vote?
All in favor?
Yes. Technically.
Can I say time and then gavel out?
Yeah.
Time is 6:51.
Good evening. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much for coming. Well done. Very well done. Well spoken. This time we'll count towards the hours. We'll count it as what? 3 hours?
I've got one.
1, 5, 8. Okay. That's it. We'll get the letters out and have it up for January.